performed, we get paid. We get paid for public performance. When the music plays on radio, like when you guys play it on OneMic show or whatever, like when it's on air, that's a public performance that we need to be remunerated. And there's communication license as well, where things like Skiza and Safaricom and all those things. And then there's synchronization. Now, what Sauti Sol is demanding is synchronization. I've seen a lot of Kenyans walikuwa nazusha wanasema, so DJ akicheza ngoma lazima tulipe, na DJ alikata license yake. Yes, a DJ cuts his license for public performing the music that he plays, and not just for Kenyans alone. Any music he does on his set, he cuts a license for that. And that's why when you play things on YouTube, you get those copyright strikes, because YouTube has to protect the copyright holders. You understand? So that's one. Secondly, if music is played publicly, once you cut that license, you are allowed to play any, like on the speakers, kama mko na sound nini, hiyo muziki inacheza kama mkata license, you're allowed to do that. That's why Azimio keep claiming they cut a license, but the license they cut was for public performance. But in the Sauti Sol case, it wasn't just public performance. There was a video of the video of Masakarua when she was being announced and everything, and then a song was taken and embedded on that video. When you embed a song on a video and you play it publicly, that's synchronization. That's not the DJ playing the music. You synced a song. Somebody sat somewhere in a computer and did a pre-production and added a song onto a video. Once you do that, it might be assumed that Sauti Sol are endorsing the whole Azimio campaign. It might be assumed Sauti Sol are endorsing Masakarua. There's nothing wrong with endorsing them. You can endorse them if you want, but a sit-down needs to have happened for them to endorse. Any endorsement, be it political, be it corporate, a sit-down needs to happen, an agreement needs to happen, money has to exchange hands.
So just to be clear, what happened here, the infringement was synchronization.
Exactly.
And synchronization is something that is different from, it's a copyright infringement. It's an infringement, but it's not it's something different, because I guess you're taking a song and embedding graphics and whatever, so that becomes a new entity. And that in itself was what the problem was. That is what that's what you're trying to tell us.
Exactly. So, for example, forget even politics. Let's assume
no, there's no politics.
Show.
Yes,
it goes big and wants to go on.
We're already big. We're already big. Let's get that clear. Yeah. I mean, we have you on the show. We're already big, bro. Come on now.
For ladies,
thanks for the apology.
Synchronization of
and we want to advertise. I want to put money to Ekeleuku kwa BT. You know, so you make a very good video of you guys in the studio, the way you do your thing, yani inakuwa noma. And then we put a song, any song, inaweza kuwa Sauti Sol, inaweza kuwa Nyashi, inaweza kuwa whatever, and it plays. Once we do that, it's a copyright infringement if we didn't have permission from the copyright holders of that music that we've embedded in that promo or that video or whatever. It's a problem.
No, this is a random thought. So if I were to do the same, I just want to understand that part. If I were to do the same for a personal video, and I put like your song on it, do I need to ask for permission? I'm not publicizing this. I'm doing it within family and friends.
What is a personal video?
Like
a social media.
Like no, like a birthday. I'm making a birthday video. Did you think
alikuwa kwa beach alafu ana nini?
I'm making a birthday video for someone and I use the happy birthday for Kina Harmonize, whatever. But this is not, I'm not even putting it on social media. I'm sending it to my friends and all to the person I'm making.
But that one nobody sees. That's
no, the people are gonna see. I just want to understand I want to see from an artist's point of view. Am I infringing on copyright issues there?
As long as it's not in the public space, it's only for your personal use. That is okay, as long as it's not in the public space.
Okay.
If it's in the public, it's a problem.
So if one of my friends decides to share this on Facebook, then it becomes a problem.
Yes.
Facebook haitakubali. Once the minute you put a song and you put it out on, ukijiproduce mwenyewe uweke kwa video kako uweke Facebook, Facebook will copyright infringe you. You'll have to go to Facebook and choose that song on Facebook. Because that song on Facebook, it has been paid for. And when you stream it,
Okay. I just wanted to understand that part.
It will be banned. That's why it is when they try to play music, they get the infringement because they're putting their own music in there. It's not music that has been cleared.
Now,
Thank you.
Now, reports coming out from the campus, and I know you probably watched Ezekiel Mutua's interview, but the reports came out that Azimio paid 500 and something thousand Kenya shillings to MCSK. But there was an interview that he was on, and I think it was Rafton. I'm going with Rafton. I can be corrected if I'm wrong. Where there was a dispute. So he gave the example of when you go to ASK, agricultural show, unalipa entrance.
Yeah.
But when you go in there, that entrance itself, that entrance fee does not actually cater for if you want to eat, if you want to drink,
yeah.
sauce na kila kitu.
Yeah.
And I think he was trying to correct Ezekiel Mutua. So if you can, maybe you can clarify for us or paint a picture that just paying the 500 and whatever thousand to MCSK does not mean that that catered for synchronization.
I'm dying. I'm just putting it in the charger. So if I get cut off, I'll call back. So don't worry. Just putting it in the charger.
Man, you better charge that mother sucker.
1 minute. 1 minute. Bro.
Okay, sir.
But now, as
we're waiting, waiting for him to charge.
As Nonini is coming, is charging his phone and coming back. For me, I'm coming here from a communication standpoint, and I'm trying to figure out what was Sauti Sol's goal, and I can't, I can't, pretend to know what their goal was by posting that public statement. But what I can say is I can give the impact of what it did. But
I think also, like Nonini has stated,
so if their goal was for the public to be educated, yes, there's small pockets, like ourselves and other people who want to know, like the facts, like what exactly happened, synchronization in Nini. But let me tell you, a majority of the people, especially when it's splashed like that in the public, there will be people who there are those people who deliberately will not want to know, but what's going to prevail is noise, and that's what's happening right now. Noise is what's prevailing. You're seeing very, very smart people, very well-meaning people, rant against Sauti Sol.
But you know what? I'll say this, and I think the rant and everything is because of lack of knowledge. And that is where I'm going to put you, and that is where I'm going to put you in it, because let me say
one thing.
Let me say this. And Nonini said that before they put out that statement, they should have.
Which
they probably
we don't know.
We don't know.
We
don't know if they did.
They did say that their lawyers,
they're taking legal
that
action.
their legal
Yes.
action, the laws are handling.
Which means that chances are
They probably did.
there was a demand letter.
Yeah.
That was
which
probably
we
not-
never saw.
Which you never saw.
No, this
So we could
actually,
assume-
remember, this thing came like almost immediately. Like it wasn't like 3 days after. It wasn't like 3 days after.
However long it took.
It was almost.
However long it
Yeah.
took, a demand letter. Let's hypothetically say that, because that's what because what we're trying to establish is, one, when it comes to IP, the laws, the rules governing that. Because when it comes to IP, it doesn't matter who you are. You're an artist, you're being a creative, an inventor, whatever. There has to be that respect. That is one. Two, if you don't respect, then there has to be compensation. Or if there's no compensation, what is the next remedy that would follow? So I am not saying that Azimio was guilty. Now, well, in terms of they did.
They played offside.
No, they did.
They played offside.
They were.
But
Let's be clear on that.
they played offside.
Yeah.
But does not mean that probably we don't know if they received a demand letter. We don't know that.
No, that's not in the public domain,
So
Ruth.
if I'm relying on what Nonini said,
Yes.
because I believe is the expert here, so to say, because
It's a subject matter.
Yeah,
Ashmi,
he's
right?
a
Oh, yeah.
Shmi.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he said he thinks they did and hopes that they did. So the first step you do before you even go public is you actually do give a demand letter, right? It's the
Yes.
first thing.
That's
So,
a requirement, I guess,
the-
of AN 254.
Pablo did say by law, that's the first step you do, right? So before them going public, if they're saying they're legal people and got involved, then if that's the first step they did, I'm going to assume they already did that. But I think what Nonini said was what they did by Nini synchronizing the song with the video, it then assumed that they were endorsing the campaign, the vice president, and his election, all of that, right? And so Cecil is trying to say, number one, we are so apolitical, we do not want to be part and parcel of any political movement. So they say that, number one. Number two, then he said there was no sit down for us to agree we're endorsing this thing. So the lessons they got is they use it differently from what it's different from what they actually did on this one. So I honestly, now that I understand that, I see the point of the letter. It also reaffirms what I got from the letter. Now, do I still say that the first feeling about the letter wasn't like great? It's like, what the hell, mnafanya nini? But I still got the message from them that we are so apolitical, we do not want to be associated with any political party. But now, having Nonini explain that them synchronizing the song to the video, not the airplay like the DJ playing, but somebody did sit down and pre-produced something before putting it out in the public, then that meant not only now like a different license that they needed to get, but also it has other repercussions. That like now, does Sauti Sol endorse Martha Karua? Does Sauti Sol endorse Azimio? But that's what they're coming up and saying. Not only, okay, the license, number one. Number two, we are so apolitical, do not tag us to anything. I honestly, I get it. I also will say how it came out to me, it was too much. It's like, maybe I'm going to one like 24 hours.
And here is where this is what I want also, like, and Tabitha is asking you to marry her. I don't know what's going on there. I think you guys need to, like, discuss something in the inbox. Yeah, I think that's inbox management. But I think not to lose the point that Ruth made.
Maybe they're synchronizing.
Maybe they're synchronizing. So. Not to lose the point that Ruth made. Ruth said this was too much for her. So here's what I want Tabitha to understand. Like, especially when you're throwing out something that's political. I'm going to use an analogy of religion, because religion, they're two very highly emotive things, like in places like Kenya. Religion and politics. So if, for example, you're a Catholic and I'm a Muslim.
Is Nonini still there?
We're gonna try. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Okay. So I'm saying, maybe if you're a Catholic and I'm a Muslim, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to convert you to Islam. If the first thing I say, so here I'm assuming, like, part of what Sauti Sol was trying to do was to get this conversation, maybe even protect other artists. Maybe that was their goal, so that people get to learn these things. So here, if I'm a Muslim, I'm trying to convert you to I'm trying to convert you a Catholic to Islam, but the first thing I'm telling you, huyu Pope ni mtu mbaya. So the moment I've said huyu Pope ni mtu mbaya, you're not gonna listen to anything else good I have to say. And that's what I think also.
So you're saying the pond was poisoned already.
The pond was poisoned. So if the goal was for people to, like, to get to learn, and of course, like, there are those small pockets like us and other people who are going to have these conversations. But once that pond is poisoned, because remember, like, we're in a situation where the country is polarized, maybe 50-50. So you've already lost, like, you've already poisoned 50%.
How was the pond poisoned?
But the pond is only
the
poisoned.
The pond is poisoned in the letter.
How?
Read the letter.
No.
Read the letter.
Where?
Read the letter. Okay, maybe the word poisoned might be strong, but you see, like what Ruth said, it was a bit too much for me. So think about,
where exactly was it too much for her?
Think about the art. She can say it for herself. She's here.
So.
But think about the average person. Think about the average person.
That's why they lost subscribers.
Forget about us. Think about the average person who's just, you know, like browsing social media, maybe a casual Sauti Sol fan, and is an Azimio supporter, you have lost just by the way, this thing, just by
being
the way,
an Azimio supporter.
yeah, and that's
that
what I'm
is
saying.
it.
That's 50% of
No
the
matter
country.
what.
That's 50% of the country.
No matter what.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying, and that's what you're also not getting. That is, if the goal was to get this conversation going, you do not want to lose 50% of your potential audience.
But we know Baba supporters.
Ali, you're missing the point here.
It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you do. If you are anti-Baba or say anything, would I be wrong in assuming that if you are anti-Baba, it doesn't matter what Baba says. If you are anti-Baba, if you say anything wrong against Baba, would I be wrong in saying that we're injured?
You'd be wrong because some of the people even who are speaking against Sauti Sol are not even Azimio supporters. See, that's what you need to understand. Some of the people who are speaking, you know, like against this are not even, because you have to understand the average person, you know, like who's busy with his life, maybe they're a nurse, maybe they're a teacher, you know, like they don't have time, and that's the reason why it is so easy to spread certain kinds of information. It's because the way people digest this type of information, if your goal, and here I'm assuming their goal was they wanted for this conversation for people to get to understand and even people to see enyewe hapa watu wa baba walikosea. Mimi mtu wa baba, watu wa baba pia walikosea hapa.
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
Allow me to interject. Allow me to interject.
Yes.
We can't think that way. That has been the problem with our country. That has been the problem with Kenyans. Because kama si mtu wetu ama ni mtu wetu anafanya, tuko sawa. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yes.
And when you have people who are doing wrong, as long as they're politically affiliated to one side, we tend to assume and disregard whatever wrong they've done. And that's why we have politics. Right now, people can't decide who they want to choose because both camps have people who are tainted. Hii camp iko na mtu iko tainted, hii camp iko na mtu iko tainted, but now everybody's like, huu ni mtu wetu. So wale weko pale, we have governors trying to run, and these people walitolewa, walikuwa impeached, and they're trying to run, but just because wako hii pande, group ya hiyo side ita jamaa hizo vitu hazikufanyika, na hii side ingine pia kuna mtu yuko na ujinga, lakini tutassume hizo vitu hazikufanyika because ni pande yetu. It's wrong. We can't allow that, man. Let's stand with the truth and just. Kama huo ni mtu wenyu mnamwambia, oya, Azimio ni aje, mnafaa kumlilipa huyu jamaa. See, because mna try to overlook because you are the supporters. It doesn't make sense. And that's the problem with our country. And that's why we have bad leadership from now moving forward.
Okay. If I can follow on that, I think what you're saying, I think when I see this, say like it's like I think you're not getting the point when you say that there's 50% of the country that are, let's say, for Baba, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm gonna go back to using the point that you used about the pond being poisoned. The pond is poisoned if you already have a side, and that side is on the receiving end of this, of the letter from Sauti Sol. So what Sauti Sol is saying, I really don't care about that party. I just don't want to be affiliated with it, and so much so that. Number one, we did not get permission for the particular license to be used, and we are not endorsing anything. Now, you will only be mad, not mad, you'll only be upset if you already have a drawn line. If you're partial about it, then so like this thing has nuance, and the more you read about it, the more you're like, okay, it was too public, how Sauti Sol came out with it, but now I kind of understand from where they're coming from. They're like, you're upset because you have a line you've drawn and you belong to that other side of it. That's why you're upset. Now, the other side is not upset because, well...
Like, just pay the guys, whatever, get together. And that is why...
I think,
no,
we have a caller, by the way.
Yeah, so real quick before the caller comes in...
7930.
Remember, just going to another example.
Yes.
Remember, like when COVID started, and there were these messages that were coming from the government, you must get vaccinations and then there were these people who are anti-vax. Do you know the government had to change the way they talk to people? There's one thing that you have to understand, and I agree with you with the message. When you technically look at the message, it's a fair message, but a message the way it's written is not necessarily the way it's received. And that's a reason why the government had to resort kubembeleza, like anti-vaxxers, like, please do this. And to a certain extent, it worked. What I'm trying to say, yes, and that's just the crux of communication. That's a crux of communication. When you say certain things, when certain things that are emotive, that people have already taken sides, like religion, for example, or politics, people have already taken sides. Like that you can't change. That's something that you can't change. So when you're crafting a message, if your target is, like across the board, you're not targeting this side or that side. And that's the reason why communication experts are paid a lot of money, because they have to, sit and decide, even these two words, technically, they're correct, they're right. But when you write these words in this way, it's gonna agitate these people. Once these people get agitated, they're not gonna care, like what kind of logic is in your message. And I think that's what has happened. And this message, as you have seen, like on social media and in many other places, it has divided people.
But this is not gonna affect Sauti Sol's bread, though.
No, it's not going to affect their bread.
All.
But it's not even about their bread. The question is, like, if their goal was just to get this message out, their bread is not being affected.
So, but to the artist community, they've had creatives. Thank you. They've had a good precedence now set by somebody.
And also, you know what, Ali, when you talk about the pool or whatever being tainted or poisoned, when you're talking about anti-vaxxers, already the pool was poisoned with Trump. Already. So it doesn't matter how much the government came out and tried to convince people to get vaccinated or whatever. Majority, let's put it this way.
When they changed their message, when they changed their message,
there were still anti-vaxxers.
No, there were still anti-vaxxers.
Even people in Congress or whatever.
But more people went and got vaccinated.
We could actually
and
say,
this is not according to me.
It's according
to the Center for Disease Control and Statistics.
If we can find out majority of the persons and the people who unsubscribed, let's say for example, who unsubscribed from Sauti Sol, I would not be wrong in assuming that majority of those guys were Baba supporters. And the way that this message came out, attacking Baba.
You guys are going to discuss 2,000 people.
Anyway, no, hold on.
I know that. To me, that's an non-issue.
No, it's a non-issue.
The non-subscribers.
Falling from 2 million or whatever.
Let Nonini say what he wants to say.
No, I have Nonini say. Then I have a 7930 wants to say something. Is itching to say something. Go ahead, Nons.
What 2,000 too? Guys have made up. You could have thought like Sauti Sol, they lost numbers. Like they came from 900,000 to 200,000. 2,000 people, bro. If they can't understand that copyright has to be respected, IP has to be respected. I consider building respect for copyright and other intellectual property rights. This is a precedent for even other intellectual property rights. For Kenya to grow economically. My youths wa Kenya wana suffer because IP is not being respected, not just in music. Hata tuko na watu wengi sana in the tech field. People are coming up with genius things, genius apps, but they're being stolen and there's nothing that can be done about it. This is a precedent that it needs to be done. We need this to go so that it reflects all over the creative sector,
Now I have let me allow this.
Thank you, Norini, for that.
Thank you. 7930. I'm gonna pick you up, and then after that, I have a question for Nons. But 7930. Thank you for calling the One Mic Show. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Habari zenu kugenzi.
Sema habari yako.
Siku mingi sana. Mjambo.
Umetutupa wewe.
Haya, remind listeners majina yako ni nani na unapiga kutoka sehemu gani?
Na social security number.
Na bank account number na pin.
Bila majina yangu mimi naitwa Maina Wanjoki, napiga kutoka New Jersey, lakini huko mtaani wananiita village boy. Anyway, so let's say mimi nikiguzia tu kidogo maana ya hiyo copyright, let's say Azimio wameguza landmine, and then our people are learning new things now, the way things are supposed to be done. Kwa sababu kama our Sauti Sol, there is copyright law, and justice is not done based on emotion. It's done based on what the law says. If the law says that synchronization is not allowed, whether they lose people or they don't, our people should learn that that is how things should be done, and that is how things will be done if somebody touches a landmine or crosses the red line. That's it. Hakuna kitu ingine. Wakenya tumezoea mambo ya shortcut nini. Whether they do 2,000 people or 1,000 or how many people, it doesn't matter. They took a while to build their brand. Their brand includes their copyright, and that should be respected. If you respect me by joining me, respect my copyright, what it says about synchronization and all that. That's all that is out there. Kenyans should learn new things. Whether ni Azimio ama ni hiyo ingine ya inaitwa nini ile yetu?
UDA.
Sorry.
Yetu.
Yako.
Correct.
The question.
Okay.
Okay.
What the law says, I know. That's what the law
Weka namba yako ya cash app.
I know. That's what the law says.
Weka namba ya cash app.
Na mimi na agree na Nonini kwa sababu, you know, he's come a long way. He's put a lot of effort in building his brand. He's building himself. So what the law says is what should be respected. Huwezi kusema huyu jamaa kutoka manzi wa Nairobi akianza mpaka leo hii, how much effort has he put? And then wewe unataka kusema uta ignore tu effort yake hivyo for no reason. That's not acceptable. That's why unakuta Wakenya wengi wanamuziki, they die poor because most of their things are overlooked. Hakuna mtu anawajali, you know what the law says. Mtu unatoa muziki saizi, kesho asubuhi ama hata dakika 5 tu unakutana naye River Road pale ikichezwa, because people are not respecting people's effort.
Well,
This time around, wacha watu waelewe vile kunaenda. Mnasema aje? Niko na kama mtu wako na swali.
wewe uko na bahati because hatujasikia watu wapangwingwi kama hawajateta. But I
No,
want
actually hata mimi nasema hata wakipangongwa, nafikiri ule jamaa aliguzwa kwa kitu, but kama hata wao wangeguza wa life wa hivyo, mimi pia ningesherehekea tu wanyoroshe, kwa sababu it comes at times that lazima wanamuziki wetu pia waangaliwe kwa njia mzuri, because those people put a lot of effort, alafu nakuta mtu kwa street ana kakitu.
I agree, and I think I don't want to lose, and I think what needs to, I think intellectual property, I think there also needs to be understanding, and people also need to know what it is. But I think over here, I think the systems in the States, the systems are already set up in such a way that you can't really fumble with IP in terms of, let's say, for example, if you're campaigning and whatever, you really can't, like, you
And
really can't fumble.
And that's how it should be world over.
Yeah, I agree. And
world over, kwa sababu the devil is in the details. Wakati wali separate synchronization na hii muziki ingine ya kawaida, there was a reason as to why. Because then that way it's into detail of what the music is all about. You know, why they're choosing that music. Sina hata ule DJ alifanya ama alifanya intentional ama alikuwa ajui kitu anafanya. But, you know, aliguza waya mbaya. So that's what it is.
Okay,
That's to add it to that. Yani shukran na mbonga poa sana. Yani OneMic, intellectual property is not just here in the US. Intellectual property is an internationally agreed system of incentives to support creators and innovators to release products useful to improve human experience. It's worldwide. It's not just US. It's everywhere. Inaitwa IP. So hatuwezi sema tu ati hapa inafaa kuwork everywhere.
So
international.
As we wrap up, this is what we're going to do. Let me ask you.
Wanaangamia kwa sababu mtu hana roho mzuri ambaye anamsukuma ndani yake ikikanyakwa. It is supposed to be equally the same world over, kwa sababu mwanamuziki wa Amerika ni sawa na mwanamuziki wa Kenya, amekaa akapiga mistari yake the same way. So if international law against that is what should be followed. So it doesn't matter who is on the right, who is on the wrong. Kama mafans wataanguka ama watapanda, gari inasonga mbele. Hivyo ndio vile gia inaenda.
Haya, maina kabla wende. Nons, as we wrap up, listen, you know, what should be the takeaway from this situation? I think, you know, you being, you know, a former director and now still, you know, a director of creatives, what should the message be, or what should people learn from this this inflection point over here, you know, this Azimio, Sauti Sol, I'm gonna call it a misunderstanding, but what should people learn moving forward? Because I think creatives at one point in time, you know, wananyanyaswa, because, you know, when you look at the CMOs, you know, and the fight to have a certain percentage of music played or whatever, and sometimes no respect, you know, with their effort or whatever they put in, you know, to entertain us. But what should people learn, or what should be the takeaway, you know, from this Azimio Sauti Sol situation? I'm not going to call it big. I'm just going to say a misunderstanding.
Because I'm somewhere here. Let me chip in on that for just 1 second.
Yes.
What should be learned? Kwa sababu unajua imefika, there has been ile vita ya ma DJ na ma musician. Sometimes musician anatoa muziki, DJ anaona kama yeye ndio anaown ule muziki. I don't know whether that's true, but that's what my perception is. So what is kwamba wakati DJ anapewa kazi, lazima ajue what is required of him, what the law says, what the music, synchronization and all that. Lazima wakuwe wanajua. Isikuwe tu mtu anatolewa pale, anatolewa kwa sababu ako na mashabiki wengi ama nini, and then he doesn't understand what is really going on. And then anaingiza hawa kwa mtungi ya shida. But the issue is, lazima ma DJ pia wacheze muziki kulingana na sheria vile imewekwa na mahali wanatakiwa, na wa respect pia wanamuziki, kwa sababu ile respect inakosekana kwa wanamuziki, kwa sababu anasema muziki, mwanamuziki ametoa muziki, kwa hivyo mimi nitacheza vile mimi nataka, nikicheza muziki yake kama nisipocheza, you know, that kind of hatred is love hatred kind of relationship. Lazima kukue na respect, kwa sababu huyu jamaa ameweka effort yake, wewe pia unaweka effort yako kusukuma muziki huyu jamaa, lakini you must know where the line is and what the law says. Sitaongeza zaidi hapo, nawatakia kila laheri, mkuwe na weekend poa.
Asante Maina.
Asante Maina.
Nons.
Yeah. So, at the takeaway, one, let me even comment on something you guys discussed, right? I think it's, you spoke about, there's a counter, guys were saying, Sauti Sol have used sijui word gani ya Rao, sijui Allah ya nani, what's his name?
Atoli.
Allah.
No, Atoli. No, Tibim. You. The shooter.
He wasn't Tibim. He was talking about.
Can I ask guys one question? What are the words? Give me the words guys are saying. Allah. What's the other word?
Allah.
Ali ile.
Allah.
Ile akiapisha tunaapisha.
Yeah.
Now I'll give you a precedent that has happened. And I like this conversation that Sauti Sol have caused the country to have, and I'll come back to that and comment about that. But these things have been happening. A lot of corporate infringement has been happening in the country. Now we fight it. Either we fight it through the legal system, and we're still fighting it, or people go and settle out of court. Chris Kaiga ni msanii. Ngoma yake ilitumiwa. He has a popular song. I think ilikuwa chain or something. So
yes.
There's a corporate who took that chain thing, and then they did an advert without going back to him. I think he settled out of court. I'm not sure. I settled out of court with a very huge company in Kenya.
Hiyo tunajua. Hata ukijaribu kuwa private about it.
We know about it.
We know.
And even over and above that, I'm still in court with 3 other corporates because of corporate infringement. But Zangu was on the public domain.
Don't worry, we'll see you after class.
Understand? Because that's how I choose to do my business. You understand? But yeah, I'm still in court with some of this infringement. But thing is, the takeaway is that IP needs to be respected, and these things are happening, and a precedent is being set. If we still gonna take these things on a normal basis, when somebody just infringes on musicians' copyright, and we're just gonna go behind the person to support because ni mtu wetu, it doesn't work that way. But when it comes to the words, let me go to the point of the words. Allah is not IP. Allah is not intellectual property. Ukiapisha tunaapisha is not intellectual property. Ask me why.
Why?
It was not coined by somebody. It was not coined from the head. It's a public domain word. Allah ni word ya Kiswahili. Allah So unless the person who originated mwenye aliandika Kiswahili, the whole syllabus ya Kiswahili, huyo ndio anaonio word. Sababu alani ni Kiswahili word, you understand? Mkiapisha tunaapisha, those are Swahili words. Today, if you go and try and trademark, you can't trademark Kenya, you can't trademark countries. There are certain words you cannot trademark because they are in the public domain and nobody owns those words.
So
language.
So let me ask you a quick question, Nonini.
Mambo, I cannot trademark Mambo. I cannot trademark Mambo.
Nonini, let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you a quick question so that we don't lose, so I don't lose this one point. If, for example, you Allah, for example, like ni sauti yangu, tuseme ni sauti yangu ndo nimetumia, and then ukachukua clip ya sauti yangu, ukaiweka kwa ngoma yako, not the words, but the actual voice, na ukaiweka kwa ngoma yako. Is that also considered, you know, not infringement? Because I'm also trying to understand that part.
So in the intellectual property law, you're allowed to sample 30 seconds of anything. Neza sample hata wadi ya Kanye 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. You're allowed to sample.
And put it in your song.
Property. Oh, yes, just 30 seconds you're allowed.
Okay.
You can do that.
Okay.
I can sample a 30-second one and put it on a song.
Okay.
I can sample I got 99 problems ya Jay-Z. Neza sample hiyo na nieke kwa ngoma. Hiyo tu. I'm allowed to do that.
Okay.
But you see, Atwoli cannot come and say he owns Allah. Allah's your word yake. The reason why I was able to settle out of court with whoever is because Giga is not a word that exists. I coined that word from my head. It's intellectual property. Nilitoa kwa kichwa yangu. Hatupangwingwi is intellectual property. It's not a word that exists. Our toi ndio aliformia word. And if they were smart enough, they would have sued those people. I hope walilipwa because they coined the word. Hakuna word kama hatupangwingwi. So hata mwenye aliandika Kiswahili, hakuna word kama hiyo. So they have the right to claim the word. So if you coin the word from your head, you can protect it and you can sue and it's your copyright. But if it's a word that is in the public domain, mambo, fiti, you know those Swahili words, you cannot claim to own it. So I hope that settles your mambo ya rao. Are we clear?
I am intellectually copywriting Maddox. I have said
it's your word.
Thank you.
If you came up with it,
Maddox. What is Maddox?
But you have to formally do it.
No, I am formally doing it.
Declaring
right
it is
now.
not
Declaring it over here is
right here.
Declaring it over here is like you standing in that canini of shake when everybody is going down.
I want to give a shout out to Pablo. Pablo is an IP attorney, I think, and he said his game. You know.
Okay. I know he's an attorney. But...
He's an attorney, an IP attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an IP attorney.
Yeah. He said his game to come to the studio to talk about IP protection.
No, this conspiracy theories between Pablo and you are gonna stop.
Conversation.
No,
That's
no,
right on Facebook.
Is it in public domain?
Yes, it is.
Wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. This conversation will continue because when Pablo comes.
Jamaliza, that was just one part.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Lakini yako ka time Joe, tuendelee na nini?
Acha wewe. Unaendelea.
Unajua stream time iko sawa, haina noma. So just real quick, let me just finish up. The takeaways of whatever that has happened with Sauti Sol.
Yes.
It to me, we've been fighting this thing for a long time. The public was never involved because probably they never used to understand what these rights are. We've been doing it for over 10 years. But what was involved because of our LA. Secondly, we've never been united as artists. Sometimes when you try to speak these things out, even on Micah and to guys don't come and talk. The problems that have been happening with MCSK and our CMOs, people don't talk about them. Right now, there's a conversation happening. Right now, there's Ezekiel Mutua going around in media stations trying to talk about MCSK. I love those conversations because they were never happening. I commend Sauti Sol na pia nawaletea noma because when we were fighting and talking about copyright, Sauti Sol never used to talk. Now they realize the power of them talking. You understand? So imagine the time people wanaongea, if Sauti Sol came on board, if Kina Calligraph came on board, we would hatungekuwa tunaona mambo CMOs wanafanya saizi wanalipwa watu 3,500. Everybody would have been a voice. But it's God sent that Azimio had to be the torch or the light that makes these conversations happen. And to make matters worse, MCSK is being exposed without us guys exposing it because we've been doing that And then guys have been saying we are witch hunting, maybe kuna watu watupendi, or millions decide kwa board or whatever. Right now we have a CEO of a CMO going on TV, and he doesn't understand the different rights of music, the public performance, the synchronization of a license. This guy is on national TV
That was messed
sounding
up.
like an idiot.
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
me.
that was a mess.
That one, alichoma.
How do you even get that? So, come on now. But I like, because this conversation has exposed these things. Those are the takeaways. Mina angalia huko kwa sideline na cheka yangu yote. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Hey. You know what?
I think that book Nonini was gonna write just got wrote.
The funny thing is, Omosh has been silent. But
No, because why I have Nonini is hitting all the points.
Okay.
And he's right. This MCSK battle has been going on for eons.
Yes, it
And
has.
remember, they've been in existence since 1983, I think, or 84.
80s, early 80s.
I think Nonini can correct, 83 or 84.
Yeah.
They've been in existence.
Because Omosh was
Na
like about
kuna-
25.
Kuna do hazijawai toka,
Imagine that.
but they collected.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he's talking about 15,000 whatever. If you're afraid of registering, why are you afraid of registering? Because if you register, then we can fight for your rights. But then he doesn't even know exactly what rights he would fight for, because over here he doesn't know about synchronization. But anyway, wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Pablo akikuja, no, Pablo what is the word? Akiapisha, aki-invite, sisi tuta-invite Nonini. So that we can have a conversation, because it is very important,
conversation.
because remember, we had Audrey last week. Whatever she does, I'm sure she would want publishing, whatever she's
Yeah.
creating.
Of course,
Our
she's,
kids,
she's
our-
in there.
Because remember, this is also for Nonini's son.
Yeah.
Correct.
Every other artist, their children or whatever, so that if they were to get into music or whatever, any creative part in the creative industry, kuna kamuku chukata.
No, but
takuja.
even you're talking about getting into the music. It's when you're getting paid and
Yes.
your music is being played.
Yes.
Your heirs
Yes.
will get paid.
Exactly. And I think that
This
conversation
is
very
for
important.
life.
Yeah.
I did not want that to miss out, because I think, fine, it's Azimio, Sauti Sol, but in uko inside, in the middle,
Yeah. There's some meat.
there's meat, and that meat is something for your heirs to partake and share and enjoy.
Mhm.
Because
For
what is-
music, guy.
nani-
OneMic, hata yake.
no,
like
it's not just
Elon
music,
Musk.
just creatives. If you're an actor, whatever.
It's about intellectual property.
Mm.
Just let's protect it. Like our kids can have that, and they can come up with things from their head.
Yes.
Those things need to be protected.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Tesla is working because somebody thought about something, and it's protected and he's making money. SpaceX inawaka, jamaa anapeleka watu koto space, ni mambo yake.
Yeah.
That's intellectual property.
Yeah.
He thought about it from.
Well, I think intellectual property ya bundles inaisha. Wait, tupatie final word. Nonce.
No. I'm just gonna say I love the conversation. Thank you, man. And the thing is, we're educating Kenyans. Mi sijamigi nikiwa na Wakenya wakizusha, because it's okay. Kenyans are coming from a point where they don't understand. So we need people who understand to come out and make them understand it clearly. I hope this conversation can go over and above from music to our leaders. Watu hatuwezi kuwa tunataka kuvotia watu wa make sense. Yani guys, you can. We need people to wake up. We need people to wake up and just make just decisions, or that country is gonna go down. And these conversations need to happen. Tuache mambo ya mob psychology. Tuko na mob psychology. Ule tumpige mawe, tupige OneMic show mawe, tunaipiga mawe. Cancel culture. Let's stop that.
Sawa, asante Nonce.
Nene.
Who's gonna?
So yeah, I think so. That's I think it's a wrap. And want to thank all our listeners, Asanteni, all our fans, our guests today, Baba MWAURA. I'm still waiting for MWAURA, who graced us with his presence. And I think is he our first senatorial candidate in the studio?
Yes.
Senatorial.
Senatorial, I think he's
But-
our first.
Yeah, but
Kenyan.
but let's
No,
ma-
period.
Oh, period. I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Our
let-
first
but
senatorial.
let's categorize state senate, not ile senate. Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
US.
It doesn't matter. senator.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know if we've had anyone who's sitting on either level.
No, I think what Ali is saying, you need to, when you say senator, you
He's-
want to
he- oh,
categorize
okay,
what,
yeah.
what
Okay, I get-
office you're talking about.
I
Remember,
get it.
remember when I talked about what you say and what people hear?
Okay, so he's
Yeah.
our first what would I say, state, right? He's a first no, is this state or county? He's state. He's a state. Yes, sorry. He's a first state senator.
Yeah, state senator.
State senator to grace our presence for Maryland, right? Yes, because he would be sitting in Annapolis. So that's yes.
Maryland. Why are you laughing? This one was laughing.
Actually, you see you people of District Ngani, Ochos. Yeah, the ones who say those ones.
Inyanya.
Say again.
Inyanya. 8.
Because he's gonna come knocking on your door. I hope you have the mbuzi ready. So Baba MWAURA, thank you very much for
Stipend.
gracing
Stipend.
us with your presence.
Stipend.
To all the political candidates out there, we have some on our roster. Our friend, what's her name? The lawyer. Oh my God.
Fatmata.
Fatmata.
Yeah.
She's also running. So our Kenyan peeps out there, please make sure you go out, make your vote count. If you're not registered to vote, there's still time. Check your state roster and see what you need to do. And this also goes out to the Kenyans. This is an election year, so if you're gonna do it stateside and you are already registered at the embassy, start planning. August 9th is around the corner. It's gonna come before you know it. So start planning. Make sure, check and ensure that you're on the rolls, because Ali, I think we registered, but somebody needs to tell us that we actually exist. Otherwise, we'll be voting in our minds.
Yeah, and actually there's a link to verify. For those who registered to vote, there's a link. I'm going to send it to people to verify.
Excellent.
And interestingly enough, I had the verification team from IBC is already here.
Allah?
Yes.
Son of
Wow.
a Tuangais.
So just go. I will post that link. Go check on that link.
Don't
Excellent.
huff and puff, woman.
Yeah.
Do not huff
So
and puff.
so they're not doing remote like they were thinking.
No, they're already here. So just check if your details are okay. You're good to go. If there's an issue, then you have to travel to the embassy to go get it corrected.
Okay,
Since
Ruth?
they're here, they can correct it.
Yeah, they
Ruth.
can correct it for you.
So
Huff and puff, huff and
somebody like Ruth, who's on Huff and Puff, since she can claim that her details are not there, can she go then to
No.
get her details added because
No.
she was never added?
No, those details will just remain not being there.
So basically, at this point, she has two choices: sit it out or go to Kenya.
Even that one is
Yeah,
bad.
no, go to Kenya is an option. Go to Kenya is an
Yeah.
option because she can go register at now that will be tricky unless she's planning to vote in Kenya.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying
She
that.
can work remotely.
If that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll work and have Nini.
That's her excuse to go back home.
Yeah.
So she'll just go register now before the cutoff and then wait back elections. Then she'll come back after.
Okay.
Yes. But, I say all of those things and I know I threw it out, but this is, we're in election period, like pretty much everywhere, at least for us in the diaspora and, Kenya, we're counting both, our hats. We wear both hats. Please make sure you make your vote count, register to vote, go out and vote. Early voting is also coming, I think, in 2 weeks for Maryland. I don't know what it is for other states. So, check your stuff and see what it is, depending upon your state. Some states I know have already had their primaries already. I know PA was like, I think, 2 weeks ago or something. And these midterms are very, very, very crucial. Like Baba MWAURA said, local politics. Politics is local, and it does affect your taxes, your policies, water, electricity, rates of CG, all sorts of different things, roads, education, health. All those things are affected by the way that you vote. Judges who you vote in, when you go to court and you have a traffic ticket, guess what? You're the one who voted that person in. So think about some of those things, and make sure that you cover your back or that somebody is covering your back and they're all about you. With that said, peace. Have a beautiful weekend. The weather is nice. Be careful and don't drink and drive. Make sure that guy called Uber is your best friend. Peace.
I'm so glad that I had a place to come after Delta did me what they did to me.
You can let it out. You can go ahead and let it out.
I am so upset about my weekend plans, but I had someone to come and to engage and hang out. Like I always say, this place is place I can hang out on a Friday evening, and get to chat with everybody.
Morning is
both
also
online,
good drive.
both
No, it's okay.
both
you know,
online and in person.
you
Morning,
saved.
she said morning.
Did you save money?
No, I use
from-
Uber.
No,
I
did you
think I
save
spent-
money from now?
Can you let her finish, please?
See, I'm
Thank you,
trying to
Ken.
get us food
Apana,
from Swahili
please.
Village.
This
Oh.
what Swahili Village?
You-
This year being an election year, let me say for once I literally did think probably I should be in Kenya by election day and vote. And I'll be clear, it's because of Mother Kara being nominated to be vice president.
Wow.
Yes, I did think, because like I think that's a very monumental thing in Kenya. And
That's
I
enough for
think
you to
I-
get on a plane
I
and go
thought
home.
of it. I have thought of it. But can I say that is so far away? If you can vote here, please get involved. Hoping that your candidate is my candidate. But anyway, get out and vote. Talk to your neighbors, your friends, people who don't understand politics in the US and their citizens. Please talk to them. We need to get involved. Just because like we are so into Kenyan politics, because we understand it, we're from there, we understand like how it affects people. We need to also be invested here. I think it's a year, and I think we should have a topic here where we literally just talk about U.S. elections and kind of give
Break
people
it
more
down.
break it down, give people more information. That's my part in short. Please get involved.
All right, thank you so much, Ruth. And I think, based on, like the topic we had today, we were not able to speak about the running mates, which have become a big deal in Kenyan elections. And like Ruth was saying, this was a very monumental moment, of having a woman deputy nominated as a deputy president from a major political party. So we're yet to see how things will pan out. And the interesting thing is the neutrals you're seeing coming out of the woodwork. I've never seen Boniface Mwangi, for example, endorse a candidate, ever, a presidential candidate. But I think because of Martha, he's literally doing it this time. I'm not telling you for which baba to vote, but I'm telling you to vote wisely. Na kwa hayo machache, yeyote ambaye anataka kunipigia simu, nambari yangu ni 1-800 mteule. Na operator akishika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu. Na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai, because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui na sibagui. Kwaherini.
Ladies and gentlemen, mabibi na mabwana, this is still an encore presentation of the OneMic show. Remember, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to like our YouTube page, get on Instagram and like us. We shall be off next week celebrating Memorial Weekend.
Yes.
But we'll be back with Cliff Okoth, hopefully. He'll be around talking about financial advice.
And life insurance.
And life insurance. And him and Ali will be our subject matter experts.
That's after Memorial.
After Memorial.
And also, please try calling that number.
Huh?
People should try calling that number.
202-683-457.
No, the Mteule number.
Oh, Mteule number.
Mteule.
What's that Mteule number?
1-800 Mteule.
Na ukikosa?
Lakini operator kishika simu.
Hold on. You know what? No, hold on. What number to call?
So yeyote ambaye anataka kunipigia simu.
Kuwasiliana na mimi. Come on, bro. Relax.
We have to simplify. Communication, my guy. Communication. Yeyote ambaye anataka kunipigia
ama ni
simu.
synchronization.
Synchronization. Nambari yangu ni 1-800 Mteule. Operator kishika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu. Na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai. Because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui na sibagui. Na hiyo ni intellectual property. Msitumie.
That is
Aiden, Daddy loves you. Njeri, Daddy loves you. Nemo, Daddy loves you. Until next week, be blessed. DJ Machachari, Bodo Pascale. Togende.
You are the last party in the conference.
John Coupe Chia, my dear, uwe maarufu. John Coupe Busu, John Coupe Mkufu. John Tule Kuku kunja marufuku. Kipata shida kwa na njama, you killing me. Twende vitani na silama, you feeling me. Sokoni sendi na bidhaa, you kidding me. Mtoto bonge